Greetings, Kawan here, and you're checking into Kawan's Corner. I appreciate you for stopping by, as always. So today is actually Juneteenth, which has little to nothing to do with the reason for this video, but it should give you, I guess, a little bit of context to the point in time at which this is being recorded. Since we're on that topic, I should point out this piece of artwork behind me. It's actually of the Middle Passages, so it's symbolic of, I don't know if you can zoom in or how that works, but if you can pay close attention, it's kind of like spirits, souls of our ancestors, my ancestors, slaves, that I guess didn't make it on that journey to slavery from Africa to the great land of America, right? So the reason why we celebrate Juneteenth is in honor of the abolition of slavery. So for the last folks that were enslaved, they got the message back in 1865, June 19th, 1865, they got that message. And actually on the other side of my room is a piece of artwork inspired from Black Panther that I'm not going to show you because my wife would beat me up if I show you our bed and stuff on it right now. We have a lot of crafts and stuff going on. But it's one of my favorite quotes from Black Panther. Bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from the ships because they knew that death was better than bondage. So from Killmonger. So that's not the point of this video, but I felt like I'd be remiss to not at least give that shout out and honor and reverence to those people, those ancestors that did not make it, and in honor of those that bore birth to me, my family, and those that survived, and the fact that we are in about as free of a country as we can have for the moment, with hopes and aspirations of things continuing to get better. So we'll kind of put it at that. The reason why I did want to share this video is because, of course, with this being Juneteenth, the day that I'm recording this, I'm so blessed to have be a federal employee and have a federal holiday that actually does acknowledge and honor this day. But just last week, we celebrated Father's Day. So with that, I have actually this nifty microphone lapel pin that my wife and kids got me for Father's Day, as well as this improved lighting, as opposed to the little ring light that I had kind of balancing on top of the monitor. So I'm really excited to try out the new toys and gadgets. But the main reason for this video and the purpose, and I'm sure it'll probably be reflected in the title, which I haven't decided yet, but by the time you read this video or watch this video, there will be a title. But I really want to talk about connection, because with Father's Day having just passed, it made me think about a recent episode of What Now with Trevor Noah. It was one that had Kerry Washington on it, and she discussed how she discovered a couple years ago that the man who for 40 something years she thought was her father was actually not her biological father. In that episode, Trevor talked about that old saying that a lot of us are probably familiar with, that old adage that blood is thicker than water, and actually was able to give context to it. And the reason why I'm talking about this podcast is because I like to cite my sources. As a doctoral student, I know it's important to cite my sources, and a lot of the media, a lot of the news, a lot of my entertainment comes from watching and listening to a ton of podcasts and YouTube videos. So I do that work so you don't have to. So that's part of the reason why I love to be able to provide this type of media, is because I consume it. So anyways, that phrase, blood is thicker than water. We often assume, I think most of us assume, that what that means is that our family of origin, our family of birth, our natural family that we belong to, the people, or just family in general, those bonds should be stronger than, we say, water. You know, blood is thicker than water. But have we ever really thought about the origin? What does that actually mean? Does that mean that family should be closer than friends? So what that phrase is actually referring to, and I learned this from Trevor Noah, so I'm citing my source. I'm not sure what his source was. So if I'm wrong on this, please correct me in the comments. But I already posted a video on how I feel about the comments. But, you know, I'm open to being corrected. I'm open to being inaccurate and wrong. But What I know that phrase to mean is that the idea of blood comes from the idea of or the concept of a blood oath. So kind of like, I guess, blood brothers, when people maybe would cut themselves or have blood brothers, those kind of situations where those people have chosen to have a bond, versus water being representative of the amniotic fluids inside of a mother when she's pregnant with someone. So the blood of my chosen connections is actually thicker than the amniotic fluid or the water from which I was birthed. So I say all that to say that what we believe that phrase, that term to mean, is actually kind of turned on its head, really. So it's saying that, and this isn't to speak ill of family or to poo-poo on family or anything like that, but it's to say that just because somebody is biologically connected to you, just because you share the same genes with someone, doesn't necessarily mean that that in of itself should make that connection more important or more meaningful than the other connections that we choose to forge. So that's talking about, and it can also include families. So if we have step parents, if you have step brothers, step sisters, or good friends, the people that you choose to spend the time with. So some of my best friends are actually my brother and sister, my biological brother and sister. But it's not just because we share genes, although that proximity and that time that we had together growing up makes a big difference. Like, just as we were planning for my father's 70th birthday party, we got to drive to and from an hour and a half drive, going both ways to a place, Lebanon, Kentucky, preparing for my father's birthday party. And because of our busy schedules, I don't have nearly enough time to spend with my brother and sister as I would like to. But whenever I do, it's typically a fun experience. So I would like to believe that even if my brother and my sister were not born from the same father and mother, that I would still love to be good friends with them. Obviously, that proximity and those bonds have made it so that we know each other. But I think that the idea of blood being thicker than water it lets us know about the importance of connection. So it's not just because of the people that you have on your family tree, not just the limbs that are attached to it, but also the leaves that fall from it. So the leaves that you choose to connect with. So I think that one of the most important things that we can have in life is connection. So the reason why I'm making this video is because of Father's Day. Because I watched or listened to that video from Kerry Washington about her father, and that made me think about all the Facebook posts that I saw that Happy Father's Day to the natural fathers, the baby fathers, the stepdads, the uncles, the brothers, the fur daddies, the moms that are playing the dads, and all the roles. It made me think that it's not just about from who was the sperm donor or from who our origins came from. It's about who did we choose to connect with, who chose to put that effort in to raise us. So I think that when we think about family, that's a really important aspect. So I want to take it a step further though. A few weeks ago, I posted a video about ideological tribalism. And I think in that video, the point of it was that we as humans have a need, a desire to try to evade one of the worst emotions, which is loneliness. So we try to find and forge connection with people that we feel like we share similarities with, people that are like-minded, people that share things with us. So a lot of times we can do that through social media. We can do that through civic organizations. We can do that through fraternities, sororities. We can do that through neighbors. There's all kinds of different ways that we can forge those connections. Some of them can be super duper positive. Some of them can be toxic. Some of them can be, I guess sometimes people have what I'm going to call artificial hatred and bigotry, because they know that if I have this stance, this ideology, then I'll be able to have a deeper connection with this particular group of people with which I share something with. Because the idea of being isolated, especially like we talked about before during the pandemic when people were kind of on an island of their own, it can be challenging. So people will sometimes find connection where connection isn't always conducive to our best interest. I'll put it like that. So on the flip side, if we feel disconnected, if we feel isolated, if we feel like we don't have friends, if we don't have family, if we don't have people with whom we can really connect with, if the family of origin is more toxic in nature, then maybe it doesn't make sense for that amniotic fluid, that connection, that water, to trump the blood connection of even a coworker that you've known for a while, with whom you want to break bread with. So my point in all of this is that it's so important that we figure out who is our tribe and we connect with them, and not in the sense of negative ideological tribalism where we're just confirming and conferring with all of their points and their perspectives. We should all as individuals have our own unique perspectives and take heedance and credence to what it is that our friends have to say, but also be your own person. That's super duper important. All right, so I think that's probably about all I have to say for this video. I know I said a lot and I went a lot of different directions. Hopefully the point I'm trying to get across was fluid enough to get something from. As always, I appreciate you for dropping in. So feel free to drop a like, a share, a subscribe, and I guess they say you should click the bell too, because now subscribing is not enough. If you actually want to get the notifications and know when I make a new video, then actually click the bell. So I appreciate you. Much love to you and have a wonderful day. God bless.